All right, everybody, welcome to LockPod, Medium Quality Entertainment, Season 14, Episode 18. This is the Midwest's Most Dangerous Podcast, coming to you live from NECA IBEW, powering Indiana Lake County Studios.
Good morning and happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
Happy birthday. Number 56.
Thank you.
For our locomotive,
5-6.
our mayor. He already, by the way, Jill, thank you.
Jill. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
What's up? You're not supposed to talk on Tuesdays. Well, Lindsay's not here yet. So.
This is not in my contract.
Right. So, really? But thank you for the cookies and the special donuts. These are the fancy donuts.
I went to 2 places.
I see that. But the fancy donuts, those are like, each of these donuts is like
5,000 calories, yeah. Well, we tried to get the your favorite, which is strawberry from Munster Donut, but it's Punchki Day, and it was a madhouse.
It's okay.
But
these are solid, man. These are really good. Where do they get these? They Parlor or something, right?
Yeah, Parlor in Munster.
Like we have these fancy donuts. I'm sure where you are, they have fancy donuts too. These are like really fancy. Each one is like bigger than a piece of cake.
Yeah, it's like half the size of your head.
Yeah. I like how you went. You just went for it, though.
Yeah, man.
This morning, you walked in. And
I was like, I guess I'm not going to make my 13 hours today. And then I started eating it, and then I stopped my clock, and I realized I had 13 hours and 45 minutes. I made it.
So I want you to know how much
start tomorrow again.
Yeah, right.
How much we love you in this show is because I want to review kind of what happened last night. So after we pre-showed, my first thought was, I will. This is before I even bothered Jill with a late night request. I like. There he is with whipped cream on his. Okay,
it's good.
I first reached out to Lindsay, and I said something like, "Hey, Lindsay, can you think of anything fun to do for your dad's birthday tomorrow?" And here's the response.
Like, no, I am at work. Can't think of anything fun.
Can you think of something fun to do for your dad's birthday tomorrow?
No,
AM?
She's not supposed to text.
No, I am at work.
They literally they can't sit there on their phones or anything. Obviously,
yes.
You know?
You could look at it that way.
Whatever gets you through the night.
Yeah. Or you
Hold on. Yesterday at 6:46 p.m.
Yeah.
I didn't think she worked that early. Actually. Yeah, actually, I don't think she goes to work for a couple hours at that point.
I am at work. So there's your oldest. Your oldest.
Pure love. Like the thing is, yeah,
there's the title.
Pure love. But like Lindsay already mailed it in because she celebrated my birthday on Sunday.
Oh, so she feels like
she's like, fuck that guy.
And she's late today,
so
that's another
the birthday was yesterday in my world. That's
I did
what
it
she was
all.
telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
leave me alone. I'm at work.
Then in desperation, I reached out. Not in desperation, because
Wow.
I knew I reached out to Jill, thinking like if anybody could take care of this and bring cookies by 7 a.m., it'd be Jill.
Thank you, Joe.
This is year 2 of you doing that, by the way.
7 p.m.
Just expect it.
So what is it, like a 2-hour turnaround on cookies like that?
No. I had stuff prepped. I was going to make them the other day. So.
Wow.
So like, what's the turnaround? You can have them cranked out in an hour.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
I want to say these
are really good
awesome.
too. They have salt on them.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Were you getting ready for bed when Kevin texted?
I actually just got home from work.
Whoa.
But also, yes, I was getting ready
Damn, you were
for
working until 8 o'clock last night.
7.
Really?
Dang.
What's going on?
Busy over there.
I'm working on a sponsorship packet for
Oh, nice.
sportsbooks. We need money. If anybody wants to give us money.
Money is good.
A lot of happy birthdays in the chat.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody.
Tons.
All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. By the way, we've got a great guest
I'm a really
coming
private
up.
guy. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Well, that's why I didn't tell you we were doing anything for your birthday when we were pre-showing.
Dude, I went to
Because you weren't at that point.
Well, I was relying on Lindsay.
what's that Japanese place in Munster? I was Kotaro.
Kotaro?
Where's that? I went there last night. They're not sponsors. I
Good.
ordered a steak, and it was freaking great, man. Like one of the best steaks I've had in a long time. I bet you they get it from Meat by Lens. I bet. But it was so good, by the way. And I would normally go there and order a roll. We ordered a roll, and then I would get something. Like
I think it says Kotaro Steak and Sushi, maybe, or no?
Dude,
maybe?
their steak is so good.
Good
Have you
to
ever?
know.
Like super thick cut.
I've not had. I've only had sushi there.
FYI.
Never been.
Steve, we need a
You've never been to
sponsorship.
Kotaro, Joe?
No.
Oh, dude.
Same.
That's our. You've never been to Kotaro?
No.
John's not a sushi guy, though.
But you
No,
can
I'm
get
not.
steak there.
Yeah.
Dude, the steak there is
Maybe we
high
need to have a
quality.
lunch,
high quality.
a staff luncheon.
Maybe
I
they
heard
need
about
to
luncheon.
sponsor our show.
Until
Until then, we're going to go to Byway.
All right, there you go. One of our
that's
sponsors.
good,
How
too.
about that?
We got a great show. You want to talk about the guest that's coming on after
Yeah.
8:10? So stick around.
He's a councilman in Porter County, Red Stone, good friend of Kevin and mine, and John, actually. John, you know Red
Yeah, I
really
know
well.
Red.
Red jumped on our campaign. Have you ever met Red, Joe?
I feel like I might have.
He is. I was describing him to somebody the other day, and I was like, he's like the Tom McDermott in the Republican Party.
I agree with you.
And I don't want to fuck him up by saying that. But I think that's how I describe Red to my friends. Right? Is like he's like me in the other party, and I think you're going to see what we mean. Is first off, Red is. He could talk, man. He's a great talker.
You will not
he
have a
knows his
problem.
stuff. And in the Republican Party, he sort of like shakes the rafters and makes people uncomfortable. And he's doing that this week right there about the in-car tolling issue that we talked about last week.
We're going to talk about that. And I agree with you. He's got a very independent streak like you do. But before we get Red on, we've got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's dig in.
We're going to have to start doing like 3 or 4 times a week just to keep up with all the news.
Oh, please.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, it's funny because when Kevin and I are laying out the show, it seems like the first section is like a bunch of quick hitters now. It's getting into, because there's so much stuff happening. And then in the second, we dig in. And then today in the third, we have a guest. So
yeah,
it seems to be the layout of the show. So we do have a lot of little clips we want to bring out too.
I want to bring up something that happened yesterday at the staff meeting just because my embarrassing moment that happened in a meeting last week with my phone going off.
What did it say again? Are you having trouble maintaining an erection?
I think it said, "Are you trouble getting hard?" Loudly.
That's what it was.
By
what?
In a woman's voice on an ad, right?
And the weird thing is Kevin answered it in front of everybody.
Yes.
He said, why yes? How did you know?
Wait, click this ad.
It was a follow-up ad? Is that what you said?
No. So yesterday we're in staff meeting.
But Joe, I don't get those ads.
Yeah.
I get like, it's weird.
Like,
Your
do you stay
algorithm
hard
knows
too
you-
long?
Are you uncomfortably hard?
An equal problem,
Yes.
I would think.
Constantly.
Dude, it's so uncomfortable.
Yes. All right. Well, anyway, this is not nearly as embarrassing, but this was funny yesterday. We were at staff meeting and City Hall, and the mayor, it was like, I don't know, mid-staff meeting. And he just kind of out of the blue, which
Like
is kind
ADD
of a Tom
boy.
thing, by the way,
Like
right?
ADD boy.
We're talking about X, and Tom goes to
Wait, ecstasy?
J,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
We're talking about Z.
Yeah.
And Tom
like
goes
ADD
to like
kicks
K.
in. And I'm like, holy crap. Like,
And
a bird flew by, right?
Exactly.
Like,
And Tom says,
don't
out
make
of the
fun
blue,
of my disability.
I'm trying not to.
It's Disabilities Month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
there we go. We
I
can
do.
talk about
I am
it.
undiagnosed, self-diagnosed ADHD.
Tom
I'm pretty
goes,
solid on that recommendation.
out of the blue, he says, so I met a guy in the hot tub. And everyone looks at him and they're like,
Oh, boy.
I mean, I met a guy in a sauna. And then everyone's like, what? And he's like, forget about it. I'm not going to go tell the rest.
Yeah,
Wait,
and it like
was
interrupted
it.
the whole. Because I remembered something in my head, and I remembered Chief Short knows this gentleman, and I needed Chief Short's help remembering who the guy was. And by the way, this is going during somebody's presentation to me. So they're talking about parks or something. And in my head, I'm like, who's that guy I met in the sauna the other day? Because I'm looking at Chief. So, like, they're talking to me about parks. And then, like, they get done, and I'm like, I met a guy in the sauna the other day. And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We were all just hearing about parks, right?
And the first thing Megan says to me is, that's going on Lockpot, right? And I was like, oh, yeah.
You have so many hot tub sauna stories. Like
do.
an inordinate
Yeah, dude, it's
amount.
kinda weird.
But I am I'm in a sauna or a hot tub a lot this time of year.
Okay.
But like in the summer, I will not be at all. Because
A
like
lot
think
of
about
men.
it.
So
When
a
I
lot of
ski-
drop off in that content.
So like I ski a lot in the winter, obviously, and then when you get done skiing, you have to take care of your legs, so you jump into a hot tub. And I'm the guy that stays in there for an hour, right? And then the sauna, I've been swimming a lot, and I do the sauna doing that. So yeah, a lot of people see me in Speedos.
And yada, 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 Tom's really tired this morning.
Et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's do some clips. These are fun.
Sure. What are we doing? Oh, this is a good one. I love the Trumpers, the people like, and I see it a lot. You know, I voted for Trump, and I can't believe he laid me off. So this is one. This is a IRS worker, big time Trumper, and he's just like, how could the supreme leader do this to me? So let's go ahead.
It was
and play
really
this
the president, Elon Musk.
I mean, it was an illegal firing. My performance was good. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I was even one of those government employees that went every day of the week. I had to report every Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30. That was my tour duty, and that's what I served. And here I am. I was a Trump supporter. When he talks about government waste and all that, yes, I'm behind it. I believe there is a lot of stuff in the government that needs fixing. And that's part of the reason why I actually wanted to work for the government, actually.
What do you think, guys?
He absolutely looks like he works or used to work for the IRS.
Yeah, no kidding, right? A guy that's like cold-hearted and doesn't care at all.
I like what he said, tour of duty.
Yes,
tour of duty.
That
yeah.
was weird.
Well, he's got to be military
Yeah.
to talk like that.
No, he
I bet he
he
is.
plays
You
fucking
don't
Call
think-
of Duty in his basement.
Okay, all right.
One or the other.
All right.
But I think I feel bad for him. I feel like it's a young man.
I don't feel good anytime somebody loses their job.
I feel like
what?
Why?
Did you say you don't feel bad
No,
anytime?
No, I said anytime somebody loses their job,
gotcha.
I feel
Yeah,
bad.
for sure. I kind of like he's a young man. I think he had his heart in his job, into what he was doing for work. And Elon Musk decides it's time to just fire a bunch of people.
But like, Kevin, isn't this what we were talking about during the race? Is how many, and we were talking about during the race, is there's so many people that are voting for Trump, and Trump doesn't give a shit about them.
Yes.
I probably said that 100 times on this show, right? And this gentleman is one of them. You think that he cares? You're a government employee, buddy. You are the swamp in his world. And he doesn't care if you vote for him. If you voted for him, you're a sucker. Too bad. You voted for this guy, and then he burned you. That's politics, man.
I suspect though, when people see this clip, he'll find a
John.
job somewhere.
These guys that
Trump
work
will
for the
come
government
around.
have
Trump will get him.
Yeah,
these guys that work for the
Trump
government
tags them, it's fine.
They have amazing resumes, man. These guys are going to find jobs. That's another thing. They're going to be competing with people with less amazing resumes for open jobs now. These people in D.C. are like, Ivy League, smart, worked for the IRS. Yeah. Who doesn't want to hire a guy that worked for the IRS and went to Yale or something? Right. It's like, come on in, buddy. Like, I got room for you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And now you've got a guy probably who will not support Trump ever again, and his family and his mom and dad and his
Trump's not running.
Good point. Right. Yeah, they won't support Elon. Not that he could run.
Who are we going to get after Trump? Vance?
JD. That's what they're doing.
Trump
right
Jr.
Now. They're building him up.
They are. They
that
really
whole
are.
thing the other day with Zelensky was obviously staged, right?
Which
I
we're
heard
going to get to.
Walls might run for president. Did you guys hear that
Who?
yesterday?
Tim,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is another good one. Speaking of the president, Elon Musk.
Oh yeah,
on Joe Rogan.
So like last show, we were lightly talking. I was trying to, obviously when you're talking about violence, you got to be very careful. And last show, I was talking about Elon, and I was saying basically I think Elon's crazy because he is a billionaire, richest man in the world, and he's making mortal enemies out of tens of millions of people that are well armed. I said it, jokingly a little bit, but I'm like, there's people that are crazy, and there's people that can't control their emotions. And I thought Elon Musk he's being crazy because, somebody may try to kill him. And then he goes on Joe Rogan and predicts his assassination. It's pretty crazy timing.
And here we go. And he's Mr. Big.
I mean, I was supposed to go back to D.C. How am I going to survive? This fucker's going to kill me for sure. In fact, I do think it's like I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff because it's going to get me killed.
What's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
He thinks he's a mob boss? I have no idea.
It's like I was actually thinking about that on the plane flight over here. It's like if I push too hard on the corruption stuff, people get desperate is the issue.
Right.
He's obviously thought about it.
Yeah.
Well, of course you think about it. Everybody thinks about it. Even like lowly mayors think about stuff like that. Like, man, I'm really pissing people off. I hope these guys have control of their emotions. Hey,
Lindsay in the
what's
house.
up, babe? You know what I'm saying? Jill, just jump over
there's
here.
crazy people out there, man.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Jill. Good to see you.
Bye,
hey,
Jill.
Babe. Hey.
Bye,
Lindsay
Jill.
made it.
Nice. Thanks, Jill.
Thanks for the cookies.
Hey, babe. What's up?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thanks, son. Hey, but basically, anybody that goes up on stage in front of a large audience thinks about stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
But like when you're making tens of millions of enemies and you're not even thinking about it, like, yeah, you got to think, And I don't want to ever say on Lockpod, I don't ever want to talk about violence against somebody.
No.
Right. But like, it's a thing. You got to think about it, especially when you're this guy. He's gleefully firing people.
I saw a text chain with him and the socialite that he's blown off in New York that she put
Ashley.
out. Ashley, there you go. St.
Yeah.
Clair.
Mother of his
and he
12th
said,
child.
That's a 13th, I think.
He had another
and now
one
he's
the
at
other day.
14.
Yeah.
14 he announced recently. So he's just rolling. But he actually said to her, like, you need to calm down because I'm second in line to be killed behind the president or something like that. Right, John? I thought I saw some text chain. So it's definitely on his mind. When you decide you're going to, for the sake of government efficiency, quote unquote, terminate tens of thousands of employees and ask them for the 5 things they did last week, I think, that's going to line you
Even
up.
the chainsaw stunt.
Yeah.
That was unnecessary.
Because it's unfeeling. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're
It's about him.
right. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
melee.
It's like, look at me. I have a chainsaw. But these are people's jobs you're talking about, dude. That's a IRS agent that doesn't know what he's going to do. Or the park ranger that was their dream job. And you're freaking laughing at him, Elon. You should be worried about that. Sorry,
no, that's okay. I agree with the principle, but the execution of it is like, these are like personnel issues, right? That they're airing out in public.
Yes.
And it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't, and I know I'm not the only one on the conservative side that it doesn't sit right with,
Oh, dude, it's not fair. It's not right. And people would want me to do that as mayor.
Yeah.
And you sure as heck wouldn't want to be like with your chainsaw in City Hall.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Can you imagine? If I go through indiscriminately and I just fire people that made their careers working for the city of Hammond, right? And then I do a press conference in the basement and I'm like holding a chainsaw.
Look at all the money we just saved.
That would be so stupid. People would be like, are you insane? You freaking moron. You just laid off a bunch of people and you're standing there with the chainsaw like an idiot, right? But you could do it if you're working for the president. It's insane. This is the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen in my life. And, I'm not trying to bang on Trump all the time. Like I mentioned on a couple shows ago that, today is Tariff Tuesday. And, you're already hearing about these multinational companies talking about coming back to America because they have to beat the tariffs, right? So there's something to be said about what Trump's doing with the tariffs right now. So I'm not like trying to beat the guy up all the time. But this laying off indiscriminately and celebrating people's termination it's tasteless.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't know if it's tasteless, and we're going to get into what happened in the Oval Office, or in the White House, rather, in the second segment as we're rolling along here. But after the, basically nuclear bomb went off at the White House in the Zelensky meeting, J.D. Vance and his family thought it was a great idea to head to Vermont to go skiing. Why not, right? It's been a heck of a week. I just got in an argument with the president of a country who's lost hundreds of thousands of lives. Let's go skiing. Here's what greeted him in Vermont.
For Vice President J.D. Vance and his family following yesterday's fiasco there in the Oval Office with Ukrainian President Zelensky. There's some new video now we have showing the vice president being greeted by protesters holding anti-Vance, pro-Ukraine signs as he makes his way there to Vermont.
He is recreating while
By the way, that's a lot of people for Vermont.
Agreed.
That's like every Vermontian.
Yes.
What do you expect going to skiing in Vermont, though?
Yeah,
why couldn't you go to like
Bernie,
Idaho or something?
Yeah, right.
You could go to Montana where it's a conservative.
Yeah.
You could have. That'd probably be you should have gone to Big Sky, my friend.
Not to Stowe.
Yeah, you're going to liberal Vermont.
Parkview or whatever.
Yeah, John, what is it? What was that lady saying? She's like, you're recreating when you're...
Yeah, what is she saying here?
recreating while thousands of people are losing their jobs.
This is a group of people who has always been supportive of standing with Ukraine. However, I think yesterday's performance at the White House has probably galvanized even more people to come out today.
Right, there you go. And I thought we had a good sign. John, do you have that sign that someone you held up? I thought this was great. Just letting JD know. Vance is a traitor. Go ski in Russia.
Yeah. I bet they have some good slopes out there, though.
I would love
in
to
Siberia.
One of my dream trips is St. Petersburg, by the way. I would love to go to Russia and visit. I would love that, except for I'd be arrested and then, Trump would never trade for me. It's like, let's be honest. He's like, nah, leave him there.
We're going to let a Democratic president deal with him.
He's let him die like a dog in the gulag.
Like, I was just trying to go skiing, man. I just wanted to see St. Petersburg.
Dude, Peter the Great. I just wanted to see some stuff.
I just want to get in a hot tub.
Sauna, hot
and
tub.
you know damn well I'll be traveling with a vape, so I'll be in big trouble. That was a joke, everybody.
So anyway, that's what we got. That's a couple close. We're going to come back, talk about the Zelensky meeting. We're rolling along, I think, pretty good on time. We're going to have Red Stone on after the second break.
Red Stone.
Let's do some ads
in
and
the third
come back.
segment. Red Stone is going to light it up.
Yeah, he is.
Be ready, everybody. Let's go ahead and do some ads. Starting with our premier studio sponsor, Powering Indiana Lake County. It's your source for the region's most trusted electricians. At Powering Indiana Lake County, we set the standard for excellence in electrical work. As IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors, they ensure safety, reliability, and quality for Northwest Indiana businesses and homes alike. But their mission goes beyond the job site. We're creating a brighter future for the region we proudly serve. Powering Indiana Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our economy and our community. Find the right electrical contractor at poweringindiana.org. And, the electrical, the Powering Indiana sweater I have, the hoodie.
Yes.
It's great, Doty. But I'm taking flack from my fellow lock potters in here.
I was going to say you're rubbing it in again.
I didn't ask only for myself, but the hoodies are money. I would suggest, your sizes get texted to Doty because we're always representing.
You already have mine, probably.
Yeah. So I do have Kevin's. It's the same as mine. So anyway, thank you, Doty. Love you. And she says if you beg on the show that sometimes your wishes come true. So
love banging on the show.
Begging on the show.
Oh, begging.
Yes.
Jesus, John.
We like banging on the show, I guess.
I shouldn't say that. Good Lord, John.
All right.
Goodness,
Frankie V's. No need to dress up. It's a casual place. Bring the whole family. We have plenty of space. A hidden gem in Hammond. You don't have to drive far. Delicious food, great service, and yes, a full bar. Try our homemade pizza chips, Italian beef, sausage, marinara, and more. We have delicious pizza, pasta, and Italian foods galore. Don't go where they don't remember you. It's just not the same. Come to Frankie V's where everyone really knows your name. Visit us today at thefrankieV's.com for daily specials, full menu, and hours.
Smitty was giving me shit.
Yeah,
yesterday.
he was, and I loved it. It was great.
Yeah,
Why?
because I was talking about.
Should he read again?
I think
I was talking about how
I've gone to almost every restaurant in Hammond to eat.
And how I can't go to some restaurants anymore because we get into fights as mayor and in a restaurant, and then I get barred from the restaurant, and I'm talking about how basically there's no restaurants left I can go to anymore. And Smitty's like, I know one you never go to. It was so brutal. Everybody started just dying laughing. I'm like, fuck you, Smitty. But Frankie V is an awesome restaurant. The food is amazing.
How would you know?
And I do go there a lot. He was just being funny.
You know what? Recently I had their beef sandwich. It was phenomenal.
Their French onion soup. Money. All
right.
And I'm a French onion
You're in a little
guy.
bit of a French
Dude,
onion
the other
soup
day,
thing.
I had a French dip, French onion
soup, and French fries.
And French fries. I was like,
and the guy was like, do you want a French martini? Yeah. He was like, I'm good.
Nice. I'm thinking French today.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give Cantrell and Cantrell a call and schedule your consultation with someone who's in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-5544-LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you. Birthday boy.
Bling. Tortillas. No,
you got to do the read first, Dad.
Oh, sorry. Oh, God.
This is how we've always
Could somebody
done
do
it?
I threw it on the floor.
All right. Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for Tortilla Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
That Lindsay cam was dead for that today, huh?
I had a long
got
day,
nothing
guys.
going. Long night. I just ran into somebody who said, I was in the grocery store. I picked up a thing of tortillas, and the song was in my head.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That is
Eli's
awesome.
One of his best songs ever.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, we got to get him back in the
Got to
studio.
get Eli back, man. I haven't seen him in a while.
Steve.
Eli.
Yeah. Towards the end, so he could play a couple songs on the way out.
Kind of a sad end of season 14. Like, this is the end.
It doesn't have to be on the last episode.
My only
Towards the
friend.
end.
Dude, play some sad song. Like the Beatles' last song.
Yes.
Yeah. In Eli's voice. Calumet Brewing, Busch Light, the coldest and smoothest light lager is the second fastest growing beer in the country, and we're serious about cracking a cold one and heading for the mountains. We get excited about 30 packs in a cooler, reeling in a big fish, supporting the farming community, hunting season, and cranking up some country music. As the official beer of NASCAR and the professional bull riders, Busch Light is always cold and smooth and waiting for you. Head over to Cal Brew or the Busch Light websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy a Busch Light with beers and cheers responsibly.
All right. For decades, the Ron J. Prestomer Insurance Agency has been located right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all of your insurance needs. The Prestomer Agency specializes in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestomer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout the Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
That's our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor.
Last show.
Power in Indiana, Lake County. Sorry. Thank you, Dodie.
So, like, obviously, we always listen to our last show, and I listen as soon as I can, usually. And it usually downloads at about noon, 1 o'clock. And I just remember I was listening on Friday after our show. All morning we were listening to Trump and, the fallout from Trump's meeting with President Zelensky in the Oval Office. And it was just the most ridiculous meeting I've ever seen where basically, we're going to go into it. But basically all morning long, I saw that meeting and then the ramifications of the meeting. And then I finally listened to Lockpod and I just found it funny. Minute 55, second 13. Kevin was so optimistic about this meeting. He's like, let's play it actually because it was.
I love it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
wait, you what?
Oh, no shit.
Is it not in the link?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, dude, I can't believe I didn't.
I thought you were going to pull it from last.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So basically, Kevin was very optimistic on the last show, and he's like, "I'm so happy that that Trump's meeting with Zelensky, and I think he's finally starting to see how important it is for Ukraine and America to be together." And it was so optimistic. I just felt bad when I heard it because it was just going to shit.
And I think I think you hit it on the head. That's kind of my, maybe that's my thought about hey, you know what? Maybe President Trump actually gets it a little bit. I'm really gonna, because somewhere in my mind, I'm actually rooting for him to become normal.
Of course,
and I want to be America to be successful and be that person in the world that is helpful and understands the alliances and understands world history and how things happen. And
oh, you got it, John?
What's the minute?
55.
So
minute 55.
And he just
13.
shattered me.
Minute 55.
Second 13.
Within hours, he shattered me.
All right. So
here it is.
Wait, there's a 5-minute intro, so it's going to be more like minute 60.
No, I think we looked at it on there, John.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I looked at
55
it on there.
what?
13 somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's try it.
More information about Ukraine, and it sounds like he's starting to really realize about pressuring Russia that they need to.
Dude,
it needs to be at the end of the day, what the Prime Minister said, it needs to be a lasting peace. It can't be something temporary.
I heard somebody the other day criticizing the deal that we're making.
Yeah.
So that was Kevin's optimism. And literally, it was funny to me because I was listening to Lockpod, and I already knew the results of that meeting was an absolute shitstorm.
Yep, a total shit show.
Like an ambush, basically.
Yeah.
I like President Zelensky. I think he's a hero personally. I see a guy like that. And by the way, I see this war and I'm super relieved because I have boys in my house,
Same.
right? And I'm relieved that we're not sending our boys off to fight against Russia. I'm relieved that we're sending weapons
and money
to Ukraine, and they're God bless. They're the ones that are out there fighting for their land and dying in the trenches and getting zapped by North Koreans. And it's not our boys.
And I
think that's a success story for America.
I'm with you, Tom. I mean, the thing of it is, and we both have boys, and I'm thinking to myself, thank God we don't have boots on the ground there. Thank God we're doing it with money, and I'm like, give them as much money as you want. If that helps keep Putin at bay and saves Europe and they're fighting.
But we're liberal. What was our term in the last election?
Oh,
educated elite liberals.
That's us.
That's us. Educated elite liberals. That's why we think that Ukraine's important, because the average American apparently doesn't give a shit about Ukraine.
And maybe we're just students of what has happened over the last 80 years in Europe. I mean, and by the way, you want to talk about a guy who should be afraid of being killed? Vladimir Zelensky.
Literally.
I mean, versus Elon Musk.
So let's play this ambush real quick. We'll do
just a little bit of it. Yeah. Everyone's heard it, but
yeah.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
a
entire
lot of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire
today.
meeting, have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some
That's not
words
true.
of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
I just, as much as I think my big problem with this conference was J.D. Vance. I think he was just like,
It was made for that.
Yeah.
It was made to make J.D. Vance look good, right?
I don't know if he.
Lindsay, you're an actress. Do you think this was staged, Lindsay?
I think it was definitely pre-planned.
Okay. Everybody knew except for Zelensky, right?
I think they brought Zelensky in with the idea that they were just going to like push him around.
And Zelensky had no idea he was about to get
taken back. No, that
he
is
was
the
like,
man
what
who
the
was
fuck is
taken
going on?
back,
You could tell. He was like, the freaking vice president of the United States is attacking me right now. You could tell. He's like, what the hell?
You've never even said thank you. I mean, what kind of meeting is this? Like what?
What's he supposed to come in and drop to his hands and knees?
Right.
It's
Thank
ridiculous.
You. Thank you, J.D.
Thank
Vance.
you for like not letting Russia roll over us. And then like the whole fiction, if you're a Trump supporter and you're going to try to tell me that it's Zelensky's fault and it's Ukraine's fault what's going on, I think you're a fucking moron. As soon as you say it, like Trump is trying to, just because Trump says it doesn't mean it's fucking true. Okay? So like Ukraine didn't voluntarily get invaded. They got invaded by Russia. Russia stormed in, and the fact that they're still around is an amazing feat.
And J.D. Vance kind of said that. He kind of got caught up in it. John, do you have that clip that where J.D. Vance says, Russia invade? Yeah, here we go. Sorry.
Yep.
For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace...
Yeah, whoa.
That's not the company line, man. That is not the company. That's fact, JD. You're not supposed to talk about the actual history. Like, you're supposed to spit the company line. That is not the Republic. John, am I off base here?
I think so.
You think
Russia invaded Ukraine?
Yes.
How else do the Republicans spin it?
Well, Trump said that Zelensky started the war.
Yeah,
or the Ukraine started the war. I'm sorry.
Did he?
Yeah, a couple weeks. But that was the same press conference he called Zelensky a dictator.
Oh, it was like a truth post, I think. Truth social post.
No. He said it, and then he followed up. But that was a couple weeks ago. So what do we know about the news cycle 2 weeks ago? Right.
Look, I'm not going to shill for the Republicans or the Democrats on what happened in the Oval Office. I would just say I think the world is worse off for it.
I agree with you.
It just was, watching this again is the same thing I felt the first time I watched it was, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this. Remember when Will Smith got up and slapped Chris Rock?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you just got this sick feeling in your stomach, like something's not right. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how I felt watching this.
It's like your stomach turns, and it's almost like hard to watch. Like you had
how
to
could
move
this
your
happen?
eyes away from it almost. Like
How
I was
could
like,
this happen?
What in the world is
Did you
going
guys
on?
see
Bullying.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm not going to go as far to say it was an ambush because the meeting was an hour. Most of that meeting was cordial. It was great.
Okay, but like they are. I mean, I don't
It
know.
went
Almost like
off
they were
the
waiting to
rails.
pounce. I mean, I
You
thought
think so? You think it was it just naturally went off the rails?
I do.
It could have.
I do.
That could be true.
Yep.
I just think what happened was I kind of was watching it and obviously reading a lot about it, and Zelensky kind of just asks, I think, a very normal question to Vance, kind of like, hey, man, this guy has never, I'm paraphrasing, he has never held up his end of a bargain. What makes you think he's going to now? We need to have security guarantees, basically. And that's when Vance goes off on him, And by the way, I don't know, and Tom brought this up, and I think you did too, John, when we were pre-showing that, like, Rubio and the foreign minister of Ukraine are just like
Devastated.
Yeah.
You see their body language. They're like, oh my God. Like they're just watching everything that they worked so hard fall apart.
I've never seen like Rubio sink so low.
He looked like he wanted to crawl into the seat cushions.
He looked like I felt. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. Like here's the reminder. The deal was worked out. The mineral rights deal, it was all worked out.
Yeah.
Like he came there to like sign this thing. It was done.
Yes.
And I be honest, like I don't think Vance helped. I agree with Kevin. Vance did not help the situation. Like he kept saying, like, have you thanked us once? Well, isn't the mineral? Do you want a mineral rights deal or do you want to thank you? What do you?
There you go.
We're fleecing their country. I mean, granted, we're defending them, but like, yeah, we're getting something out of it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this last part is just this to me. Told me obviously this part was totally staged where reporters get to start asking questions directly of the attendees, so like the president, the vice president, I imagine the secretary of state's available for questions, as well as President Zelensky, Ukrainian president in war. He's wearing like a general's outfit. It looks like it's a cool looking sort of general's
and he always
outfit,
wears
but
something
he
like
wears
that
this all the time.
everywhere.
It's the black crew neck sweater looking thing. It's got like a some type of Ukrainian logo on it. And, this is how he's dressed at the White House. So a reporter decides to embarrass the Ukrainian president in front of everybody in the room.
And before we play it, John, I just want to put reporter in quotes because This is not like a regular pool reporter. This is like a guy from, I forget the name of the network. But
Right News Network or
there
something
you
like
go.
that. Yeah.
Everybody watches that. And he happens to be the boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Nice.
Here we go.
All right.
See what
Second question. My second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I don't
the
have
authority of
such.
this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something
maybe
like this.
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper. Than, yeah.
I will wear a costume
Thank you.
when the war is over.
I was watching Marco Rubio the whole time. That's the only person I
Yes,
watched during
me
that.
too.
Did you?
Yes.
He just looked like he wanted to die.
Like, what a
He didn't even
dummy.
I saw him glance over at the Ukrainian president, and you could just tell he wants to freaking sink into his chair.
Well, this idiot, MTG's boyfriend, just wants to get points from Trump and Vance.
Yes.
He's like, oh, I'm going to ask a question. And by the way,
I'm going to publicly suck your dick, Donald.
Is the irony not lost in anyone in the room that we have this guy, Elon Musk, parading around the Oval Office with a MAGA hat and a T-shirt with his kid there?
Right.
Like a week earlier? Who... Like what?
It's not lost on anyone in the room. Can we all just agree it was just such a silly question?
But it's a staged question intended to embarrass the president of Ukraine, John.
By a news agency that shouldn't even be there.
Our ally.
Yeah,
freaking American ally. We embarrassed the president who's in a war in front of everybody in the world. It's the worst diplomatic display I've ever seen in my life.
That's a backroom conversation.
I don't even know if you take that
I
in the
agree.
back
I mean,
room.
if it is a backroom conversation,
Like,
right?
You're talking about a guy that's at war. What is he supposed to buy a suit? What, am I going to shoot down his block and go to a tailor?
I mean,
they're at war. There's nothing left in Ukraine.
I personally think everyone should be in a suit. Elon should be in a suit.
Oh,
Zelensky should be in a suit.
We've talked about that on this show. Fetterman should wear a fucking suit.
Be in a
right?
suit.
Get out of your goddamn hoodie.
But I would say here's a nice picture of Winston Churchill in 1942 leaving the White House in his wartime gear. 1942 Winston Churchill looking good, by the way.
Isn't that good? Well, how about Elon Musk? You know,
I
we
like
know.
that.
But how about I have a picture in there of Elon Musk visiting the Pope. Did you pull that one up?
Oh.
Whoa! Wearing a suit. Look at that. Elon Musk wearing a suit with the Pope. All of his kids properly dressed.
He owns a suit.
So he makes a conscious decision when he's seeing the Pope, I will wear a suit. But if I'm seeing the President of the United States in his office, I'm wearing a tech support shirt.
See, let's see that, John. What's he got rolling here? Oh,
See?
wow.
And a hat.
And a kid.
And a kid. Booger-eating kid.
I mean, where's the guy asking the question for Elon? Elon, you're in the most important office in the U.S. Why aren't you in a suit? Do you own a suit?
So he's prioritizing the Pope over the president for sure. He's like, oh, that's the Pope. Of course I'm going to wear it to the Pope. But when I'm in the president's office, I can do whatever the hell I want.
I'm going to flex here.
Mm-hmm.
But Zelensky needs to wear a suit, but not Elon. All right, we get the idea.
The fact that question was even asked.
It's such a joke. I agree with you, John. Terrible. Yeah. So before we get to Red, there's a couple other things. Real quick, speaking of Marco Rubio, this was a quote that this is a little video that we got from somebody we all know.
I'm sorry, I still can't get over this is Rubio.
Look at him.
That it honestly is looking like, because him and Trump's relationship is
rocky. He ran against him.
This look is like, I sold my soul.
Like, what am I doing here? I should be in the Senate.
Yeah.
So this is an old clip of him, just to kind of give a background a little bit. And I don't want to play the whole thing. I think maybe the first, 40 seconds?
Yeah.
This is Marco Rubio in the Senate on the floor speaking in 2014.
When the Soviet Union fell in the early 1990s, Ukraine was left with the world's third largest stockpile of tactical nuclear weapons and strategic nuclear weapons on the planet. But they signed this agreement with the United States, the United Kingdom, and Russia, that basically said, if you give up your nuclear weapons, these three countries that signed to this, will provide for your defense and assure you of your defense. And so Ukraine did that. They gave up these weapons. Well, now, this was signed in 1994, 20 years later, one of the three countries that signed that agreement hasn't just not provided for their defense, they actually invaded them.
There you go.
And I want to make a point.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right? I mean, that just don't forget. It's like, hey, don't forget.
Don't give
and
up
I'm not
your
blaming
weapons.
Rubio on that. This is the fact that these are facts he's talking about.
This is like a lot of Republican. Mike Johnson just said like yesterday, Russia can't be trusted. This is a big split in the Republican Party about how to handle this Russian-Ukraine thing. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think we're seeing it play out. Whatever the popular opinion is, I think they're probably polling on this, the reaction and stuff. And
I think so too.
deciding
There's
which way to go.
I was watching Meet the Press yesterday, and there was a Republican senator from Oklahoma that was very much pro-Ukraine and always has been. Here's Bernie Sanders talking about whether or not. I think Mike Johnson said, "Oh, Zelensky should resign." Here's his response. This was Bernie Sanders on
Do
Meet the
you
Press.
think that President Zelensky needs to resign in order for there to be a peace deal?
I think that is a horrific suggestion. Zelensky is leading a country trying to defend democracy against an authoritarian dictator, Putin, who invaded his country.
There you go.
Dude, Bernie's the only truth teller right now, man. He's the only truth teller.
And he's fighting back.
He's literally, and I don't even like Bernie's politics.
Yep.
He's the only guy I trust, though, when I hear his voice. You know, and like in the whole lot.
He doesn't care what
He's
anybody thinks, so he's just going to tell you what.
A straight shooter.
Yeah,
I give
without a
Bernie
doubt.
that, and
Agree with
he's.
you.
I don't think he's full of shit. Like when he tells me he supports something, I believe him.
I agree with you.
And half these guys, I don't believe.
And not that I always agree with him, but when what he says, you're like, okay, he believes it.
He's a truth teller.
So before we get Red Stone on, there is one funny little thing we're going to play. This was this was a great skit. If you saw this over the weekend on SNL, just really funny.
It was a recreation of what we were just talking about, right?
Yes, it sure is. So let's play this. We're going to go to ads, and we're going to get to Red Stone. This is awesome.
And you know what? You're not even wearing a suit. It's disrespectful. Who shows up to the White House in a T-shirt and jeans like a garbage person?
Hi guys.
Elon, we love your outfit. Very official and respectful. And I love when he gets that chainsaw right next to my head.
Thanks. Donald, what are you doing in my office? You know I'm the president now, right? I'm kidding. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Awesome. I mean, you got to make a joke, you know. You can really joke. Legalize comedy. Come on, legalize it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So
freaking
getting Mike Myers, by the way, back on SNL.
Dude.
Please, more Elon.
I can't remember the last time I laughed at an SNL skit, and I'm laughing.
That was a good one.
That was
a
good.
good one.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do some ads. And when we come back, we're going to have Porter County Councilman Red Stone in studio. He's waiting in the green room right now. So let's start off talking about the branding room floor. It's our new sponsor on LockPod. They've been with us for a little bit, but don't let your business get lost in the shuffle of generic branding and aimless marketing. Trust Northwest Indiana's award-winning full-service marketing agency, The Branding Room Floor. Providing data-driven results to help your business grow in a crowded market is their specialty. From website development and digital advertising to graphic design and branding, their Branding Room Floor will set your business or organization on a clear path to strategic success. Don't wait another day to get started. Visit thebrandingroomfloor.com today.
All right. Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Look no further than Kuklakis Law, your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and Illinois. Struggling with immigration paperwork? Need a visa, green card, or help with naturalization? Kuklakis Law is here to guide you every step of the way. Our attorneys have the experience to guide you through the complex processes of family immigration, humanitarian relief, and naturalization with ease. Don't face immigration challenges alone. Call Kuklakis Law at 219-671-6347 to schedule a free consultation. Hablamos Español.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business. Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more about and schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com, 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time. And they do flat roofs. Someone asked me that recently. They do flat roofs. Get an estimate.
Yes. MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. Stay in the loop and connected by checking out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com. And for tailored assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon personally on his personal cell phone at 219-741-9511.
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solutions in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team led by Rick Baltonsberger combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing and metal business cards, always on time and within budget. Conveniently located in Munster and Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions using the latest innovation and technology. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Thank you to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Power in Indiana, Lake County. Look who's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud pleasure to welcome to the studio for his first time. He's a Porter County councilman right now. He was on the school board in Chesterton for 2 terms. Great guy, politically active in Porter County. He knows his way around Indianapolis, Northwest Indiana, and Washington, D.C. Welcome to the studio, Red Stone.
Thank you very much.
Good
16 years on the school board. By
Whoa, 4 terms.
16
That's
years.
my typo.
Yeah, it's Kevin's typo. Hey, pull that microphone.
I didn't think you're that old.
Yeah, no, 16 years.
You know, we don't invite just anybody over here on the mayor's birthday. So
well, that's
right.
why I want to say
That's
happy
right.
birthday, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good to see you, Red.
See, he's a Democrat. I'm a Republican.
Yeah,
see,
man. Look at you guys shaking hands.
Yeah, shaking hands. And by the way, I did wear a suit.
Look at you.
See that? Because I came in, I knew this was a respectful podcast, so I said I have to wear a suit.
You had to dress
I can't be like Fetterman and wear shorts and a sweatshirt. That's what I usually wear.
FYI. We talk about that all the time, man. It drives me crazy, honestly.
All your guests should be wearing a suit when they come in.
You've set the standard.
Steve, please upgrade to let the future guests know.
That's right. The dress code.
We won't let you speak unless you're wearing a suit.
That's right. You can't walk in this damn studio.
I love this is long overdue. We owed Red a visit.
Because Kevin Pastrick has been talking a long time about this. So I know
instead we've had
Kevin's
Kevin on a couple times instead of you.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
So how's it going, man? Let me ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, ask whatever you want.
So obviously, like, you were on the school board for a long time.
Yeah.
And, and I'm not sure, I don't pay as close attention to Porter County as I do to what's going on over here in Lake County. But I know my school cities are under a lot of pressure right now with the funding formula and the loss of students. The vouchers are having a big deal over here. As a former school board member, are you concerned what's going on with the public school system?
Yes, I'm concerned with SB 1 when it originally came out. I think
SB 1 is the governor's proposal to basically
property tax. He wanted to roll back, I believe, 3 years to 2021.
Right.
And I think that was the wrong approach. I think that was more political than anything. And as a school or a county, we can't roll back 3 years. Our budget's already set going forward. I mean, that's going to hurt law enforcement. That's going to hurt E911. You name it, it's going to hurt. I was talking with somebody else about this. We are in Indiana. We are fiscally conservative. Yep. I mean,
You mean currently the state is?
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Like I said, listen. Let me tell you something.
Right now, we're fiscally conservative in Hammond. There's not a lot of fat in our budget.
There is no fat in Porter County budget. I promised my taxpayers. I sent this out to Mika Beckwith when he said, "Prove it," and I said, "You want to come to Porter County? I'll take our auditor,
Micah Beckwith is our lieutenant governor.
Yeah, and Republican governor. Let's go over our budgets. Let me know where we're going to get $7-8 million without sacrificing our law enforcement,
exactly.
E911,
if
or
you're
our
talking
roads.
about fat, 2/3 of my budget is not just it's
people.
Salaries, it's public.
It's people.
It's public safety.
We
Police
offer
and
service.
fire.
It's
That's
people.
Right.
Well, and I think
what we do.
we kind of previewed Red and like what an independent streak he's got. I think this is the interesting thing, right? You've got a Democratic mayor, you've got a Republican county councilman saying, "Governor, you just said we got to live with less. We already are, and we're doing the best we can with what we've got."
True story.
And I think that's the point. Is this is not just affecting Democratic cities or Democratic towns. This affects every city and every town, regardless of Republican or Democrat, throughout the state of Indiana.
Oh, I agree. I do believe they're going to work this out. I really do. I think it's going. I think there's someone in the legislature to say, "Whoa, let's put the brakes on this. We know we're going to hurt the cities, the towns, the counties, the schools. The schools will get hurt." And the thing about it is, we passed a referendum in Doolin. Okay, I think
to expand the public safety
operating.
It was operating, and a big thing was SROs in our school system. My constituents wanted SROs. We have SROs.
Explain what those are.
With student resource officers.
Yeah.
They're
So
great.
cops in the school.
But it's not just cops, man.
Right.
These people truly are. They bond with kids.
But they're there for safety.
They're there for safety.
Right.
But they're a very, very, very good resource.
Right, and that's expensive,
The people
obviously.
of Doolin wanted it. We did it. That's
So
a referendum
the county,
item right there.
So the county pays for every officer in every school in Porter County.
Chesterton. No,
That's back when he was on
Chesterton
school
does.
board.
That's
Just
Doolin.
Doolin,
That's
I'm sorry,
just
okay.
just Doolin.
So
Correct.
Doolin schools. Oh, the referendum was through the school district, and Doolin schools are paying that money. Okay.
So ultimately, if we have to cut back $7 or $8 million, what you're saying to me is,
think about that.
We don't care about the people of Doolin passing a referendum. We're going to make the school system cut $7 million
Even though they just
more
voted
even
to
though
put
we
that
just
in.
voted to say we want SROs, we want good programming, we want we offer a thing called the Hub Group. My daughter has 2 kids, a 1-year-old and a 6-month-old. She goes to the Hub Group. It's a very nice. They have teachers there. They read books. They do things. Gets younger people involved in the system before school. Like kind of during the
pre.
Right. It's
pre-
a very
preschool.
preschool.
Yeah.
That is what we want as a community.
Right.
So let you guys vote
Let
for it.
us decide
And
what
by
we
the way,
want
that's what the
in
state
Doolin.
said. They said, we're going to do this referendum system.
Right.
If you voted in.
Exactly. And we voted it in. And, I do feel sorry for Hammond that you guys didn't vote it in. I mean, I think it's,
too.
I will say, I will tell
Do you
this
think it's right, though, that, that the Hammonds of the world should be able to choose to say we don't want a public school system funded? I mean, I don't think that's, no offense, I don't think that's the kind of decision.
What I think is right
What if Hammond told me we don't want to have cops anymore? I'd be like, are you crazy? If we don't have cops, we're going to have out-of-control crime, right? So if you're laying off teachers and shutting down schools, what's going to happen?
I see that point, but I've talked to you about this before, and I will say this again. A school board member is one of the most important people you can ever elect. And I had a politician about 4 years ago, literally, we was a heated conversation on the phone, and it got more heated when he goes, "You're nothing but a school board member."
Right.
And I said, "I'm nothing but a school board member."
Right,
we have 6,000.
remember you telling me this
6,000 kids. We have parents. We have soccer, football, problems. Whatever it is, we deal with the problems. And I'm just a school board member.
Foundation of the city or
It is the
town.
most important thing you can vote for, and that's why I always say this: if Doolin does a good job, it's because we have good school board members. You have to elect good school board members. End of story, bottom line.
So,
And if you don't,
If you don't, you'll see the consequences.
This is the funny thing about Red when we all talk. Okay, so like on my introduction, it's like Red was a former school board member, and it turned into this huge conversation.
So we could talk for an hour.
That's just
man.
like one dot about. We
knew we would have no trouble filling the time.
Yeah.
That was
Kevin
not
and I
going to be
didn't
a
do a lot of
problem.
I asked
on
you
you.
yesterday. I'm like, do I get the whole hour? I need the whole hour, Tom. I need the whole hour.
Well, I mean, here, I want to make sure people know Red's background because, I mean, not only is he an elected official, he really has been very successful in business. I mean, you are the owner or one of of Metropolitan
One of the
Steel,
owners,
right?
vice president now, Metropolitan Steel.
Okay.
I sold out 8-10 years ago.
Yep.
I have another business, AC Iron, which is in Cal City. Tried going to Hammond.
Okay, but like Red, like when I describe you to people, it's like you are a blue collar Republican for sure.
Dude, listen, man.
Right?
I will tell anybody this, and that's why I don't have a lot of, I grew up poor, but I was the richest poor person. Okay, so you don't know you're poor if you're the richest poor person. Okay, I traded for
Where I
bikes.
live.
I got hand-me-downs for my brothers. I mean, you name it. I went to on the east side. My grandma would give us cheese, and I was like, oh my god, we got the cheese,
Government
the big
cheese.
book of cheese, or the powdered milk. And
Yeah.
my dad was an
Thank
iron
you,
worker.
Ronald
My
Reagan.
mom was a stay-home mom, and I had brothers and sisters, and we were a tough family. We fought. I mean, it was
Where did you grow up?
On the east side, and then my dad moved us to Michigan because he didn't want us to get involved in gangs and riffraff. So we moved to a little town, Buchanan, Michigan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Buchanan's right
yeah.
across the border, right?
Yeah, it's a dope center now. I mean, I grew up with Red Bud Track and Trail.
You mean
and now
it's all legalized marijuana?
I'm sorry, that's another thing. Me and you will. See, me and
Dope
you can
center
agree.
from Red.
Legalized
marijuana
for
Tom.
Yeah, so there you
I
go.
know where Buchanan is, buddy.
I'm sure a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people do now.
You mean the dope center, right?
The
like
dope
Buchanan.
center. Yeah, the dope center.
I love it. There's our title.
So, we don't want to forget this because this is one thing Red's been. I mean, this just again, I keep saying independent streak. I just want to prove it. So we talked about the craziness, and the mayor really talked about John. This clip that John did, tens of thousands of views, if not more, about this idea that's going downstate about tolling 8094 and every freeway in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, horrible idea.
Red, I didn't know you were.
That was me.
Wow, look at this.
Look at this.
It's like, you should have put a middle finger on there too.
No, see, I don't. That's one thing about me. My kids know I swear like a truck driver when I'm with but I do not swear at home. I try to.
Really?
That's
it.
No,
and look at this. So anyway, if you can't see
this.
this because you're listening to the podcast, Red has taken out billboards. It even says paid for by Red Stone on the bottom.
This is amazing.
Attention, this is yellow, black, and red in big letters. Attention Hoosiers, new tolls equals highway robbery! Exclamation point! Exclamation
And
point.
I did that
Brilliant.
because my son, who's 22, who's an iron worker, he went in at 18 years old. He's got 5 years in. He's got 5 credits, making he's making bank.
Yeah.
But he comes home. He goes, I'm single zero. I'm getting half my paychecks getting taken out in taxes. I got to pay the Indiana toll, the Skyway toll, or this toll or that toll in taxes. And when this came up, this really bothered me because I am for the blue collar guy, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's how I will always be. I am blue collar to the bone, no ifs, ands, or buts. And to see people have to pay tolls on 94 or 65, you want to go to Costco, you have to pay a toll now to go to Costco,
Right.
I think is absolutely ludicrous. And the only thing I would like to say is this.
Shit.
Yeah, it is. And the only thing I like to say is what they're going to do is they're going to toll, okay? And then they're going to sell it. The money's going to go downstate, and Northwest Indiana will not see a dime. Because I did have people tell me, one second, Tom, I was at our reorganization meeting. 95% of the people like, Red, yes, I love that. And I had a couple of the state people,
I already know who did
tolling, we could get a lot of money from tolling and this and that. And I said, well, you know what? Northwest Indiana is not going to see the money.
Crazy, dude.
Northwest Indiana is not going to see the money. I know that for a fact.
Who was saying that?
I'm not going to.
You acted like him.
I'm not going to say, but it's.
You can tell by the body language.
I told him, I said, with all my dying breath, I will fight these tolls. No ifs, no ands, no buts. I have another one going on.
Crazy.
65 on the 13th. It's a static one.
Wow.
Beautiful.
It's going to be just like that. As soon as you come across, boom.
Do you paying for this personally, or
100%
campaign?
And like I told him,
it's not the campaign.
No, this is me personally. And like I told him, I said, see that name, Red Stone?
That's amazing.
I said I could have put a pack.
Yeah.
I could have had. I have lots of friends. I could have had a friend do that. But guess what? I don't do that.
Put your name on it.
See what that.
But
reads?
you could have done it with Committee to Elect Red Stone if you wanted to.
I could have.
Yeah. You
but what that says is what that means to me right there.
Screw you.
I mean, I think this is just tells you what kind of to me. Red's the kind of guy I want in government, just like Mayor Tom is, right?
Oh, yeah.
You speak your mind.
Yes.
It's not about party first. It's about what's good for my community.
Like
Red and I get
my
along
constituents
on almost
people
every
of Northwest
issue.
Indiana do not want this.
No.
And they won't listen. But like I always said, I made a couple calls downstate. No one called me back. I said, hey, listen. I said, listen.
That was a bad mistake.
I've been fortunate my whole life. Trust me, I've been fortunate to have to have some money. I will make them listen.
Yeah.
So these.
John, what was that? John, how many people saw the clip of Mayor Tom on when we did the clip about the tolls?
Yeah, the TikTok one, like 110,000 views. So
Wow.
you're not alone, Red.
So I have the
Let's
mayor.
go, Red.
I have the mayor of the largest city in Porter County, Austin Bonta, supported. He reshared it. So I guess I can.
him and I never met.
He's a good guy.
Yeah?
Really good. Absolutely great guy.
He
Great.
seems like
loves Portage, man. He
I follow
loves
him.
Portage, and these are
Listen,
the
dude,
type of
I follow
people you
him.
want in government.
I follow him, and
Yeah.
and I read the stuff he says, and I think he's a real smart guy.
He's
he comes across as a very intelligent
very,
guy.
very, very, very intelligent.
Yeah, but I got to get him on the show.
And Tom,
let's get him on the show.
Let's do it, Steve.
We're on a Republican streak right now.
We are.
Hey, I'm glad. I got to try and get you guys.
As long as he's wearing a suit, he can come in, I guess.
Red, I've
But
been
you don't have
trying
to wear a suit.
for like 15 years, man, with the Republican stuff.
But
we have John on every show.
and I do like you, John, by the way, because you do at least push back a little bit. So yeah, he pushes
But
back.
you know, Tom, you said this a lot. You said with mayors, party really usually doesn't matter.
Agree.
You said I get
No,
along.
I followed Austin's race when he ran against Sue,
Yep.
and he was hitting every issue you need to hit. His campaign reminded me a lot of my first one. A lot. I thought he did a very effective job, and it doesn't surprise me that you two are friends because you're a very reasonable, smart, great politician in my opinion. And Austin, I think, is a young, obviously he's got a great future in front of him. So I'm glad to hear that you two have hooked up.
Red, what's the future hold for you? What are you looking at? I mean,
I'm a local guy, man.
What term are you right now? First term in county council.
County council,
and you
correct.
represent part of.
I'm District 1, which is pretty much the north part of the county.
Red.
Yeah.
The governor's got to like you, man, right?
Everyone likes me.
I agree.
But here's the difference.
Right?
I love everybody.
Well, why don't you tell him what's going to happen if he passes?
I'm going to have dinner with him. I think the 12th,
Good.
the 13th.
Would you tell him that there's good people in government like me?
I'm not afraid of anything.
Tell him like you're going to kill us, dude. Yeah. My freaking 2/3 of my budget goes to cops and firemen.
Listen, I think at the end of the day he's going to do the right thing. But I will tell you.
But his public statements don't help, dude. It makes it look like you and I are wasteful people, and we're not.
Anybody can come up to Porter County and
I agree with you, man.
But
like when you hear the governor, people that believe what the governor says think that you and I have all these extra millions of dollars we're just doling out.
This is how I have it figured. You know, he was in Washington 6 years. His staff was in Washington 6 years. He was in the minority. Okay, what do? I got to get you on Fox News. You know, I got to oppose everything. Get you on Fox News, oppose everything. That was their life for 6 years. You get elected governor. Well, guess what? Now you have to lead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So those same people in his circle, you know, they have to kind of shift gears and say, hey, we need good policies for Indiana. And Washington politics does not work in Indiana.
Agree with you. See, I think they were trying to be too much like Washington. Like, we're going to cut here in Indiana. And it's like, wait a minute.
You got to know your people, man. I talk to anybody. I'll talk to Democrat, Independent. I don't care who you are. I will talk to you.
Why wouldn't you run for statewide office? This is a state that you would do well in.
Honestly,
you would do well.
I love my family and my grandkids too much to take the time away from them.
It takes time.
To put in the time, and I don't think I would get results down there because
I do not agree with that. I
do
not agree with that. I do not agree with that. I think a guy like you
I'm a
would
results
be received
guy.
really.
We have to have results.
Yeah.
I have to have results.
I think a guy like you would do well.
I do appreciate it.
You got the right credentials. You're a smart dude, and you could appeal to both sides. A guy like you could do well.
He's got the gumption too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
totally.
Well, I listen. I never want to start. I never wanted to start out to be a politician. Trust me, because honestly, I don't like politicians. You know,
hey man, fuck you.
I don't like politicians, Tom. But here's the thing.
I'm a fucking birthday, dude.
I'm a politician now. I'm a politician now. I guess I'm a politician.
When did you turn into a politician?
When did I turn into a politician?
When I want to shock people, they go, "What do you do?" Like if I'm away, and I'm like, "I'm a politician." And they're like,
"Oh,
big time politician. I support Joe Biden." How about you?
The race was open for county council. And I had my paperwork filled out the night before. Didn't even tell my wife I was doing this. Didn't tell my wife. I was off the school board. And I was driving, and I'm so sick and tired of people. You know, you can't trust the people that are in office. You know, they say one thing, they'll give you, wishy-washy answers. And anybody who knows me knows, if you ask me a question, I am truthful. I will tell you the truth of what I think is going on. I sat in my car and went, you know what? I'm going to do this. I had to run countywide, and that's it. But
I love that.
We have to have people that are trustworthy.
You and I think so similarly. I agree with you. I believe in the system, and I don't believe if the system works the way it's intended. I believe in it, but it doesn't work as intended if people are intimidated from running. You know what I'm saying? But that's what parties do. That's what the Democratic Party does. I'm not just saying it's that's
every
what the
party
Republican Party does.
They're
like, you can't, like, if you said this, let's say, this is a hypothetical, okay? Red says, I'm running for governor. What's the first thing that would happen? You get a call from the Republican Party chairman. They say, you fucking crazy. You can't run for governor. Governor Braun's running for governor. You can't do that. But if you're deep down inside, you think you'd be a better candidate, every Republican would be telling you you're making a huge mistake for running for governor. Not because you couldn't be a great governor, because we got to protect our governor. That's the way. That's what parties do.
That's how the power system works.
And that's what fucks everything up.
Do I think I'd be a great governor? Yeah.
Why?
Because I'd be for the people.
So would I.
Because most of the people in Indiana.
That's right. So would I. I'll just never be able to.
This could be the governor's race, 2028. Dude, Red versus Tom.
But the thing is, honestly,
would be really fun.
The fucking thing is.
I mean,
let's go announce.
I'd probably get ripped for being on Lockpod, but people don't understand. I will go, like I said, I'm going into the Lion's Den, right? I'm going
expelled from Republican Party for appearing on Lockpod.
On Lockpod, right?
This isn't the Lion's Den, man.
But you have to talk to people. You have to understand where people come from.
But I think it's good for people to sit here and watch Lockpod and see a Republican elected official, a Democratic elected official, getting along, talking about the issues, and trying to find solutions, right?
Yeah, we need more.
You got to have common ground with people.
But that's Indiana.
If people like Red and I were actually in charge of our parties, things would be a lot better. But the problem is people like Red aren't in charge of his party, and people like Tom aren't in charge of our party. The people in charge of our party are much further left and much further right, and they would never appear together on a podcast. That's the freaking problem. Well, it's like if we were in the middle. The reason
why I'm appearing on this podcast, make no mistake about it, that sign right there.
Yeah,
because I always say any press is good.
I love that.
I'm glad you're here.
Whether I'm
I appreciate you being here.
I will go in any podcast because I firmly believe that if you toll, it's going to be the wrong solution for the people of Northwest Indiana.
So hold it. So like it took like 14 seasons to get you here. So I'd hate to think it was another 14 before you came back because, you know, I like you.
I listen, me and you always have great conversations. I really think, and I like you because you're a fighter.
I like you too.
I really do. It's
it's
like a love fest now.
It is. No, honestly, I'm going to tell a story about Red before. I know we're getting short on time, but Red risked his career for me, straight up, right?
100%.
I know.
Told you.
Like you fucked up your career.
And I'll tell you why I supported you.
When I ran for Congress,
I thought you would do a better job than Frank Mervan.
So, like, the thing you don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, is Red was a big Republican, and he backed Tom McDermott, a big Democrat, and he was outspokenly supporting me. Big time, like driving me places, appearing places with me.
Held fundraisers. So a couple years later, when Red starts getting more active in the Republican Party, you think that didn't come back to bite him?
Yeah,
it certainly did.
Like I will tell anybody, it was 100. We've never elected a Republican in 100 years. So I'm looking at this, going, we're probably not going to elect one now.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time in my life I had Visklosky since I've moved. I've been here 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was the first time for me to actually pick a congressman, Tom or Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Now I like Frank; he's a good man. I talked to him, but I think you would bring back more money to the region than you're like a little AOC. You would have been like my AOC, like, dude, Tom, fight for me, please, because I'm big on mental health, and I wanted money to come back to Northwest Indiana for mental health. We are lacking mental health. I think we have one in Dyer for like 750,000 people, and I know. And that was one thing I asked you. I said, Tom, if you get elected, please, for the love of God, could you bring some money back for Northwest Indiana for mental health? We need beds in Porter, Lake, and LaPorte County. We need beds.
It's a true story. And we've gotten along,
and that's why I backed you
ever since. Well, dude,
Red
thanks
Stone,
for coming in, man.
I appreciate you.
No,
man.
I appreciate you
Thanks
too.
for coming
Happy
on
birthday.
Lockpod. We appreciate it. Thanks, brother. I
thank you.
appreciate you.
Absolutely.
That was Red Stone. He's a Porter County councilman, a good friend of the show, great guy in general, future governor candidate possibly.
Yeah, and wear a suit.
We'll talk
and up the ante.
First person ever to wear a suit in Lockpod Studios. So, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jill, for the save on the donuts and the cookies and starting off the show for us. Thank you, Linz. Appreciate you. Love you. And Jay Vez, always doing a great job behind the boards there. Thanks to our audience for listening to Lockpod. We'll be back on Friday, as usual, with another great show. Appreciate you for listening, and see you on Friday. Take care. Lockpod's out.